Hello there, General Kenobi. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Welcome to Nostalgia Drive, a series where I go over the original Trails in the Sky OST and the Evo OST and compare the two. Evo is blind, by the way. On today's episode, we will have Pride of Liberl, starting off with the original version in 3, 2, 1. Play. Oh yeah. Yep. Here comes the Royal Army. Bum, 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 ba, ba, ba. Ba, 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 ba. I love this song. I don't know why. It feels triumphant. It makes me want to stand at attention. It makes me feel pride for Liberl. Seriously. I feel patriotic just listening to this song. Which I mean, I guess it does its job. Oh, you got the flutes, you got the snare drum. Oh, that seriously, it's that drum for me. I love that drum. I just love this melody too. And you got the horns coming in too to finish it off. Oh man. Oh, this is just a fun time to listen to this. Why does FC music just always put me in a good mood? Well, most of FC's music. I'm definitely not gonna say that the next couple are gonna put me in a good mood, because those are a little different. But anyway, that was the original version of Pride of Liberl. Yeah, it first plays when Julia comes in with the Arsail to save the day, to capture Mayor Dalmor as he's about to escape. And you know, speaking of Julia, she isn't one of my favorite characters, but I do like Julia. I like her personality a lot. I like how she's sort of not necessarily stoic, but she has a very serious demeanor about her. You know, she doesn't really joke around. Kinda when she's around Chloe sometimes, but as she's not captain at this point. What is she? I think she's lieutenant. But just she takes her job very seriously, but she also is incredibly kind-hearted. And just I always love the moments where she's essentially, you know, mentoring Chloe, looking after her. I think she also takes care of Sieg sometimes too. I mean, you know, if we're talking, you know, best character in the game, Sieg is kind of up there. Scree. I love Sieg. I don't know why I love the animal characters in these games a lot. I mean, aside from the fact that I just really like animals, but I don't know, I love the little personality that Falcom gives the animal characters. It's fun. Julia's a solid character. She's not one of my favorites. If I had to rank her on a standard tier list from F to S, I would probably say she's like a middle B tier for me. You know, she's pretty good, but she isn't one of my favorites. But you know, in any scene that she shows up in, I'm glad to see her. It's always good to see her. And I do like how she essentially, you know, looks after Chloe. And you can tell that they have a very close bond with each other, almost like sisters in a sense. And didn't she she trained under Cassius for a time as well, didn't she? I vaguely remember something about that. I don't know if that was mentioned in FC or if it was mentioned in a future game. But anyway, if you guys wouldn't mind, could you hit that like button? It'd really help me out. It'd get these videos out to more Trails fans so that they can come in and join in on the fun too. I would really appreciate that. And you know, if you haven't already, and this is your first time here, or you're a returning viewer, why don't you hit that subscribe button? That way you never miss an upload of mine. And you get some peak Trails goodness. Oh yeah. Okay, that's enough out of me. Let's move on to the Evo version of Pride of Liberl. As far as guesses, it's probably gonna sound the same, just more... I'm expecting it to just sound more live-y. Maybe more like a marching band. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Because the original does kind of also convey that sort of marching band aesthetic to it. Is aesthetic the right word to describe music? I don't know. Alright, let's go. Evo version in 3, 2, 1. Don't disappoint me. Let's go. Ooh. Oh. Ooh, the big boomy drums. Ooh. I was right. Ooh. Oh, I like those horns. Those horns sound very nice. Snare drum isn't as in your face as in the original. Oh. Ooh. But oh my goodness. Wow, the melody. I'm trying to speak, song. Can you hold up a second? Thank you. The melody was way more powerful. Now we sort of toned down a bit. Ooh. Oh my gosh. There's how it's sort of... Oh, that was really cool. It was sort of like shifting from left to right, just ever so slightly. Oh my gosh. Bum, 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 bum. There's my dog. He wants to join in. Bum, 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 bum. I'm back. Yeah, we were essentially at the end here. I'm sorry about that. How are they gonna end this? Finish? Oh, nice. Oh my gosh. What section was it? Was it this section? Yeah, it was this section. Oh. Oh, it's just the way that they utilize the brass in on the left and the right side. Just the way it was fluctuating. Oh, that just that just it sounded so good. And then this the beginning section here. I just like this theme. I love the Liberl theme. I just love the army theme. It's such a good theme. So is it all brass? Or it's yeah, it sounds like it's all brass, drums, and then of course the flute. You got the flute here. It's like part of me kind of thought I heard a violin, but I think it's just a horn. And like right in there, it sounds like they have a violin playing the high note there to me, but that could just be my ears playing tricks on me. It could all just be brass. I don't know for sure. Either way, this one really impressed me. Wow. Obviously it fits because it's the same melody. It's just it sounds a bit more triumphant than the original. I think they both sound equally patriotic, but I think the live aspect of the Evo version gives it sort of an advantage this time, because it adds that sort of, you know, marching band quality to the music. Do I prefer it over the original? Maybe? I do like it a lot. I do... yeah. I like the beginning section of the original more, but I think I'll enjoy the rest of the song of the Evo version more. I enjoy how the snare drum in the original is more pronounced, whereas in this one it's more taking a back seat, which isn't bad. It's just a different type of style they were going for. It seems like this one they focused more on the horns, whereas I think the original might have been more flute focused. Let me see. Why do I always get lost? I get lost in here. Maybe not. Yeah, because it's just the snare drum just remains that constant driving force that I really enjoy that. I really like that aspect. But just the horns. The horns of the Evo version are so powerful. Okay, that's also the hard part, judging these Evo versions. Yes, I have the nostalgia factor of the originals, giving them that extra boost, but it's like that's also why, you know, we listen to the originals as well as the Evo versions, so that I can sort of get a fresh perspective on both. But also, on the other hand, with the Evo versions, they're new, they're fresh, they're interesting. You know, after you listen to the Evo version, they kind of have that, sort of new car smell, because it's something new, it's something you've never heard before, or at least I've never heard before. So you have that excitement factor wrapped up with sort of this recency bias. It really impresses me right out of the gate, so of course my impression of it is really high. But that's also why I like to go back and forth between the songs to try and pick them apart and see, you know, what do I like better that the first one does, what do I like better that the Evo version does, to sort of try and level the playing field a bit, and sort of reduce the chances of me potentially, you know, picking favorites. I do have a tendency to lean more towards the originals just because they're the versions I first heard, so of course I have a special fondness for the originals. But on the other hand, it's like I don't want to give the Evo versions too much credit, simply because I don't want to pick the original versions all the time. That being said, I think ultimately, I'm gonna say, presentation-wise, the way the horns, man, the horns, the brass section, they did a phenomenal job. I wish the snare drum was a bit more up front, like in the original. I do think I prefer the Evo version this time. I do like it a lot. That's what makes these so hard sometimes, is when both versions are equally good, and then it's like, alright, now pick a side. It's like, what do I do? Which one do I pick? And then sometimes you just gotta pick one. Man, seriously, these aren't getting any easier. I thought maybe these would get a little easier with time, but they aren't. They seem to just be getting harder. These just don't get any easier. Okay, we've now reached the part of the video where it's time to just take your shoes off, put up your feet, start roasting some marshmallows over this campfire here. Cause it's time to have a fireside chat with your boy, Cyrus Bright. Huh? Even I cringed at myself saying that. Wow, that was totally out of character for me. Am I gonna include that and just embarrass myself? Probably. Oh boy. Okay, first things, I did write down a couple of topics that I wanted to discuss that I thought would be just kind of neat little topics to talk about. First thing, so how's the weather, guys? The weather's been doing great, right? Oh, the number one conversation starter, always asking about the weather. I did want to bring up the weather, actually, unironically, because it's been cooling down around here, and I love that. I do not like hot weather, and where I live is It's hot almost all the time, except during like the tail end of fall, winter, and a little bit of spring. So I've been really enjoying the cooler weather. Now the wind has been picking up, which that's not fun, because you get stuff blowing in your eyes all the time. Ugh. And my phone turned off on me. And a cool thing that happened today at my work, they ended up doing a barbecue for everybody for sort of like a employee appreciation kind of deal. They had hamburgers, they had hot dogs. They didn't just have your typical hot dogs. No, they had links, they had bratwurst. You know, they had the really long hot dogs. Those were really good. They had chicken wings. The only thing they were missing was pizza and french fries. I would have completed the 5 main food groups of American food. Oh gosh. Even french fries counted vegetables, yeah. But that was nice. I even got to take some home. I got a free lunch and a free dinner, which, hey, saving money is all right in my book. I'm going to try a different style of thumbnail going forward. I don't necessarily know how. I don't know if I'm gonna cut out the name of the song from the thumbnail and just put the name of the song on the tail end of the title, because obviously I want these videos to get out to more people. And I don't want to resort to using clickbait thumbnails and titles, but I've kind of come to the realization that I can't, just keep being this super generic, sort of dry thumbnails and titles that I have. I kind of have to find some form of middle ground. So while it's not necessarily going to be clickbait, I'm just going to pose a question. I just don't know what version of that question I'm going to ask that's still going to pique people's interest while at the same time being not necessarily being clickbait. I was thinking of something like, oh, does the Evo version suck? Or are the Evo versions any good? Does the Evo version suck? Suck is kind of sort of a more harsh word to use, but that might sort of cause people to stop for an extra, like, half a second, contemplate, oh, what is he talking about? Oh, do they suck? I don't know. Let's check it out. Well, obviously I want to improve, keep striving forward. But at some point, you do kind of have to find, like I said earlier, you do have to kind of find this middle ground and not necessarily settle, but sort of find your stride. Find what works for you, and then just go from there. I like the style of thumbnails that I've come up with now, but I also thought the same for the thumbnails that I made originally, which they are not available anymore because I've since changed them all. This was what my original thumbnail looked like. Now, looking at it here, it doesn't look terrible, right? My idea was the original version. I got the original album cover versus the Evo album cover. I thought that was pretty self-explanatory. I ended up adding, is Evo better? So I was kind of, in a sense, already posing this question. I just didn't carry it over to my new thumbnail style that I'm doing now. But then I originally had episode titles. I didn't really want to. I felt like I kind of had to anyway. And then over here, I end up having this system where I would just replace it with some pictures that matched the song names. So this was episode 2. Well, it says right here episode 2. This was episode 2, Whereabouts of Light, hence the harmonica, and then Setting Off, hence the signs pointing in either direction. Sort of, symbolizing, the beginning of a new journey. And what I didn't realize at the time was that over here in the bottom right, 68, cool. If I go over to content, now obviously they're not this small, but as you can see on the right side, you see the little time code thing. I didn't realize that would be there for all of the videos, and yeah, as we can see, over the right, at the bottom right there, you got the little time code thing that kind of blocks a little bit of the view. No views? What the heck? Why does it say no views? That's weird. So yeah, I didn't realize that at first, but I thought it was a neat idea to just kind of have. Oh yeah, and I even changed this around too. To sort of just have it be you know, you see kind of the you see kind of the idea that I had. This one's kind of meh. This was sophisticated fight, hence the, you know, the trumpet for all the trumpets in the song, the the bowler hat and the mustache on Mueller, and then the boxing gloves to symbolize fighting. I just it's still in line with what I did, but what I ended up doing. I ended up having some random people on Reddit look at it, and they were like, "That's way too much stuff in there. I don't know what it's about. I can barely see any of that stuff." And then so that's what led me to making these ones. I remade them, and I had these little, you know, I decided to keep the Sky versus Evo. I just put it in text because they said, "Oh, you can't use a ton of text." So I was like, okay, I'll just have this up top. It'll be big. I'll have the black background thing so it stands out. And then I have the name of the song in the thumbnail, and then I can just, you know, change it to be whatever. But then these are the early versions. Oh, these are the early versions where I just have this sort of generic sky background with some of the characters. But then I got more into these style, which is my newer style, where I sort of had the dual colors, trying to make the words pop out a bit more. I started doing more colorful backgrounds so that the words stood out a bit more. But yeah, I tried a couple different colors on that one. Yeah, this one here, a couple different versions there. And then we get to my newest, this one that we see here, where I made this little logo, and then I put OST reaction here, and then I have the name of the song. It's still a lot to look at, I think. So I am considering taking this text out, having this logo be up top, or, you know, somewhere, maybe top left, top right, and then having this, whatever phrase I end up deciding to use, that'll be what I have as sort of in the middle, or I think will stand out the best. And then I'm thinking of maybe keeping it to like 1 or 2 characters max, so that there isn't, you know, a whole lot of stuff in the thumbnail. I don't know. As I said, I'm still learning. I'm still attempting different things. So we'll see what happens in regards to thumbnails. As far as, I did have a thought, because I was thinking back to my Madrigal of the White Magnolia video, and there was a piece of background music that I wanted to use that I completely forgot to fit in there at some point, and that was Legram, because I thought Legram also shared that sort of medieval style of music that the play did. So I thought, oh, that'd be really fitting for background music. But then I got to thinking, I'm not going to be able to do any of these kinds of videos for the Cold Steel music. There isn't a Cold Steel Evo version, and the only thing they really have is the Super Arrange, which I've only listened to a couple of the Super Arrange tracks for the Cold Steel games, but that's it. So I will be able to do some comparisons with the Cold Steel music. It'll just be with the Super Arrange versions, which I'm sure people will like, because, you know, people really like the Cold Steel music. But I was thinking of doing some form of appreciation video for the Cold Steel music, sort of like how I do this, but instead of comparing the piece of Cold Steel music to like a different version, just sort of listening to it on its own, maybe describing, oh, you know, it reminded me of this song in the past, or it reminds me of this thing, you know, it reminds me of this other TRAILS OST, and I think it would actually fit really well in terms of this scenario or that scenario or this setting. Kind of like how I compare the Evo and the original versions to each other. Sort of compare the music of Cold Steel to other various points in the series, if I do find a connection. I just thought that would be something cool to do, because I actually don't see a lot of Cold Steel like sort of stuff like this. You know, like Jesse's Auditorium, he's done a couple of Cold Steel music reactions, and some other people have done music reactions to Cold Steel music, some other people have done reactions and other things to the openings and other pieces of music here and there, but it's just there isn't enough. out there, right? So I think people would appreciate it if there was someone else throwing their voice out there, even if it's someone. How do I phrase this? Even if it's, I don't want to say even if it's somebody like me, because that makes it seem like I'm like self-deprecating myself, which I'm not. I'm just speaking in terms of like experience and like professionalism and all that jargon. But I think it would be something that would be nice. You know, I feel like it is something that people are looking for. I just think people would appreciate it. They would appreciate me appreciating Cold Steel's music. As much as I'm sure people appreciate me talking about, you know, the Sky music, which we still have a long journey ahead of us. And I did have one last topic I wanted to bring up. I've been thinking of incorporating, sort of like how I did last episode, I've been thinking of incorporating more comments into the videos, where I sort of bring things up people say and just elaborate on them. Sort of have a little bit more of like a community aspect to these videos. I did mention early on at one point, was it episode 2? It might have been episode 2. I did mention that I wanted to do like a comment of the day at the beginning of each video, but then that never really went anywhere for a while. And then admittedly, I kind of forgot about it. And then I didn't remember until very recently when I started getting considerably more comments. With, I mean, considerably more is like, you know, two or three more comments on these videos. Which I appreciate every single comment you guys leave. It's nice that we can have these little conversations, and I know that everybody's time zones, schedules, they're all that stuff is all different. Don't feel like you need to reply right away. I know there are times where I've taken almost a whole day to reply back to some people. You know, I don't want people to sort of feel like obligated to reply back either. You know, if you're busy, you're busy. I appreciate you leaving a comment in the first place. It's like I do try and respond to everybody as quickly as I can. And I did mention it before, but I forget who the YouTuber was. It might have been Markiplier. I think it was Markiplier, who he mentioned how he kind of misses the days. It was either he misses the days or he's envious of the smaller channels. They can have more of a community aspect, and the creator can be more involved with that community, right? Whereas with him, he's got thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of comments to filter through. Ain't nobody gonna be able to respond to all of those people, you know, for every single video. Like, that's just an impossible task. So, like, I understand that he sort of can sometimes feel this disconnect between himself and his audience, because he's not really able to get to be more personal with people. He kind of has to treat everybody as just audience members instead of actual people. Which, yeah, no, I totally get that. You know, it is nice to be able to connect with people more on a more personal level. Even if it is just like random conversations about random things, you're still, in a sense, getting to know people. It's just in this really roundabout kind of way. And my rambling aspect definitely trickles down into my commenting history. Certain people know what I mean. Me leaving literal walls of text sometimes on people's videos, which I left a comment once on one of Gnosis's videos, his review of Trails in the Sky FC, and his response was, "Wow, this comment is longer than my review." And I looked back at it, and I was like, yeah, it kind of is. Oh my gosh. Sometimes I get like that. Sometimes I can leave fairly short comments, but then sometimes I'll feel like I just want to reply to every little, you know, key point that gets brought up in the video. I don't know, it's weird. Well, I think I've rambled long enough. It's about time I hit the old dusty trail. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was a lot of fun, but guess what's coming up soon? That's right, we got 2, maybe 3 more? I think 2. I think it's 2 more, and then we finally get to Zeiss. That's probably my most anticipated Evo track out of all of them. Because I love the original so much, I don't think the Evo version has a chance, but we'll see, because some of these Evo versions have, blown my expectations away. So yeah, if you liked the video, feel free to give it a like. Subscribe if you want to see more from me. Leave a comment down below, tell me what you thought. I'll reply to you as quickly as I can. And take care of yourselves. Hope to see you again soon. Peace out.
Alright, what's next?